like to go on there? There we go. No? Why is it not recording yet?
On my side, it says.
Oh, okay. There we go. Now it goes. All right. So welcome, everybody. We are from the UNISA Science Engagement Center. I've got with me Tumelo here, sitting this side, and Anzani sitting over here. And they're going to assist in the lobby, aren't you? And we are going to do a presentation. But because there's so few of us here, I'd like to also have your input, maybe before we even start. We're going to share a questionnaire with you on Thursday. And so we are doing the research in two parts. On the one hand, we are going to do the awareness of robotics resources. And Tumelo's running that research part. And I'm going to run whether you actually use the robotics resources. It's one thing to know about them, and it's another thing whether you use them. And then if you do use them, whether you'd like to share with this community of practice how you use them, and then maybe if you've got suggestions to add. All right. So what I'm going to do in the first session today is I'm just going to introduce robotics to you. And with robotics at all times, it is the engineering part, the programming part, and kind of what happens in between is your 21st century skills development. So whenever we talk about resources, we kind of, does it support the one or the other or both, and how do you use it? And obviously, free resources seem to be a much more viable option many times. Sometimes you do need to purchase something, but for most of the time, it is free resources that get used. And of course, if you have a great resource that you've used often, we'd love to hear about it. We are going to present just a basic outline of resources that we do use, and we're hoping to build on this portfolio. And then, as I said, on Thursday after the session, we'll share a Google form with you and kind of get some feel of what resources are being used. Okay. All right. So let me start. I'm going to share my screen. Let me share my screen. And I'm just going to give an introduction part of it. Okay. Hi, my laptop is so busy. All right. Why is everything so slow? Maybe it's because it's elections tomorrow. There we go. All right. You're welcome to put up your hand at any time. Tumelo is in the lobby, so he'll be watching the lobby if you've got any questions. But I'm now going to go into presentation mode, so I can't see the lobby at all. There we go. Tumelo, can we see my slides?
There we go. Yes.
And from the beginning. There we go. Yay, this is nice. All right. Okay, so this is there are 4 units in this discussion, and we'll do unit 1 and unit 2 today, and then unit 3 and unit 4 then on Thursday. And it's really about understanding for robotics education, what is the software and what are the resources that are available. And it's not just for the learners. We know that for educators, they also need resources. And kind of, if you want competent and confident learners, you need competent and confident educators or coaches or facilitators or trainers in the mix. All right. So this is our agenda. So I'm going to just give a general introduction to robotics just in general, and then in unit 2 we'll go and do the building of robots. Now, obviously, the first prize is if you can actually build something, with your hands, something concrete that you can build. But building robots virtually is just as good as learning experience. And then Thursday, we'll do some programming and then more resources and where to start. All right. Okay. So we're assuming that you kind of know what is robotics and what does robotics landscape look like in South Africa, and the resources that are available. And then, but we'll kind of figure that all out. And then by unit 4, we'll say, okay, so what now? So what do you use? And that's what we're going to have a questionnaire to say, what resources are you using? What do you need that you can't find? What have you found that is exciting and it's usable? And so where are the gaps in terms of resources? All right. So what is robotics? So at all times, robotics there needs to be a building. So it's like the form and the function. And I always say the building is the form. You build something. So you have a chassis and you have passive attachments and powered attachments. So those are the fundamentals of engineering. Okay. But now if you want function, you've got to program it. So the principles of programming are what ensure that the function of the form, and then you need to complete a task, or we call it a task or a problem, or you've got to find a solution to a problem, something like that. And then in between that is what they've coined the 21st century skills. And these 21st century skills, I've written development. It's not about teaching and learning. I don't believe that. I believe you need time to develop these skills. And it's problem solving, creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, teamwork, innovation, imagination. That list kind of gets longer, because computational thinking is actually also on this list, and pattern recognition is also on this list, and so it gets longer and shorter as you go along. But these are the skills which you as a coach need to develop in your learners. All right. So at all times you've got these three: the engineering, the program, the 21st century skills. And for these training sessions that we do here at the Science Center, we usually use a robotics kit, and we've got EV3s and we've got Spike Prime kits. We've got some NXTs as well. Or you can go virtual, and I'll show you now what the options are for virtual. And then for programming, you need a laptop. And so for the EV3, we use EV3 Classroom, and for the Spike Prime robotics kits, we use the Spike Prime software. Those are both scratch-based programs. And we usually start with a small motorized robot that can go forwards and backwards and left and right. And once we've got that right, then we start building bigger robots. We start building robots that are maybe not as mobile. And in this plethora of robots that we have available, there's always, like, where does the robot fit in? Because is this a robot or is this not a robot? And so you've got those that are mobile, that can actually move, but you've also got the fixed robots. So like your arms in the mechanical or the car industry that are putting cars together and putting components together, those are the fixed robots. They don't go anywhere, but they're still robots. All right. And then for mobile, the ones we know are the ones that go on land. All right. But and land being even on space, on the moon. So those are also mobile terrestrial robots. Then you get the robots that can go underwater, or the aquatic robots, and they are doing phenomenal things for the solving of many environmental problems that we have. And that's a whole new topic that we can address. And then you've got the airborne or the flying robots, and the drones are an example of that. All right. But in terrestrial, they can either go with wheel or they can go with legs. So you can get a spider that walks, you can get a humanoid robot that walks, so that there's endless possibilities of that. And so if you are introducing this to a class, I would say definitely get pictures and show the learners, have some pictures, because you cannot assume that they know what a wheeled robot looks like. Okay, maybe I need to add this to my presentation. All right, but you've got to know your robots. And so this was what's the top 10 top cutest robots. And so Wally from the movie is apparently the cutest robot. But as you go down, you see R2-D2 is there. An interesting Buzz Lightyear also made the list, which is exciting. But these are all robots that have kind of crept in that we know about. Okay. Then this lady is Sophia, the robot, and I tell you, there's another one coming in there. When you see her, your brain does not really realize that she's not human. She twitches, she blinks, she smiles, she grimaces, very much looks like a human, absolutely. And if you really want to see some really cool robots, this Boston Dynamics, go to their website and go and see what those students are up to. It's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. And so this was in 2017. So 7 years have passed, and you can kind of see how the technology is moving. And so the question is, why are we teaching robotics in schools? It's because we need to prepare our learners for their future. And so you can see how fast the future is moving as well. All right. In terms of, that's where I'm coming to now. In terms of educational robotics or robotics education, we're trying to encourage our learners. All right. We're trying to provide them a space to develop the 21st century skills. We're kind of edging them on to explore and discover learning, to see whether something works or doesn't work. And it's all too easy to say, you'll find the answer in the back of a textbook, but robotics is not a textbook subject, and you won't find the answers in the back of the textbook. But it has to be a forgiving learning system. So that's why we use these robotics kits. If something is not right or doesn't work, and you just dismantle it and you put it together again, and then you carry on. And so there's no record of any wrong. Not that there can be anything wrong. You just keep improving to make a better robot. All right. So we have one robotics kit, and really, I don't have my box of robots here. You use one robotics kit, and you can have many designs. We don't break down a robot. We transform the robot. So for the grades 1, 2, and 3, we use the WeDo sets, which has got icon-based programming. We use that for the grade 1s, and then we move the grade 2s and 3s to Spike Essential with a Scratch program, which they should be having in class anyway. From grade 4 upwards, we start building these kind of robots so that you can use the EV3 kit. Originally, we used the EV3 lab programming language. It's okay. You can use it. You can continue, but there's no. But we've moved on to EV3 Classroom. It should be Classroom programming because it's also Scratch-based programming, and so we're kind of moving everybody over to Scratch-based programming, and then the Spike Prime has got Scratch-based programming. Okay. And you're saying like after this, we start building bigger robots. We use remote control. We do 3D printing, laser cutting, and we start building the big robots from any material. And so it's always a progress. You've got to start somewhere. And so you start in grade 0, you start with basic programming, you start with unplugged coding in grade R, and then we do unplugged, and then we kind of move them up as we go along. Okay. So what does the landscape look like? I'm not sure that everybody realizes, but coding and robotics is actually in the school curriculum. And the pilot is out for grade R to grade 3, and we do have the UNISA Science Engagement Center does have coding and robotics training for educators. And if you'd like to know more about it, you may just maybe put your hand up, and I'm sure Tamela will happily share the link. We have information sessions on a Friday. All right. Now, linked to our landscape, it's in the school. I know grade 4 upwards, they are working on various options. But the Department of Science and Innovation in South Africa has got a mandated group called SASTA, South African Agency for Science and Technology Advancement. And within SASTA, there is a board called the STEMI board that is responsible for all science Olympiads and competitions. And I'm kind of hoping everybody has participated in this. And I know it's been around for a very long time because I even participated as a learner long time ago. But in 2020, just before COVID, STEMI then took a core decision to add focus to these Olympiads and competitions. And so they've divided all the Olympiads and competitions into 4 clusters or 4 segments or 4 groups or whatever you want to call them. And so the one is on the maths Olympiads and competitions. The other one is the innovation. So the innovations will be like your ESCOM expos, where there are projects, okay, and your science fairs. And the third one is then your knowledge or your quizzes, kind of. So your geography quiz, your physics quiz. So those are all the quizzes. And then last but not least is robotics and coding cluster, for which we are then the lead agent. So we are kind of watching over and making sure that all learners have at least one opportunity to participate in a robotics competition. All right, but that's a lot of wording. So let me just give you the drawing here. So here in the middle is the UNISA Science Engagement Center, and we started out as Inspire Towards Science, Engineering and Technology, which is the ISET Robotics project. And so now as a science center just gives us more leverage, and we have now got the community, ISET Robotics Community of Practice for excellence in robotics education. And we equip our coaches and our teams to participate regionally, nationally, internationally in robotics competitions. Okay, so that's down the center. But on the one side, we've got the Department of Basic Education, and they have a coding and robotics curriculum There are two MOOCs here, DBE 001 and where's my cursor? There we go. DBE 001 and 002. And they're on the UNISA MOOC portal. And as I said, Tamela is happy to show you around to find that. The cool thing about these massive open online courses is that there are lesson plans from grade R to grade 3, term 1 to 4, week 1 to week 9, and you can download the whole lot. Lesson plans and activities. All right, and you'll find this all here on the UNISA MOOC portal. Yes. I can't zoom it. Like, can I zoom it just now when I got out of presentation mode? Okay, so just keep that question. I'll show you. Happy to do that. Thank you. All right. So down here, you also have robotics massive open online courses, but these are ours. All right. And so we present it on the MOOC portal, but we do all the recordings, and our recordings are on our YouTube channel, which is iSet UNISA on YouTube. Linked to this, we also have live online learning sessions, which are then the sessions discussing the content, and that goes onto the YouTube channel. We have the short learning programs, which is presented by the UNISA Center for Lifelong Learning, and we also do practical workshops, which you really enjoy. Okay. Now, on the other side is the Department of Science and Innovation, and then there are currently, under this cluster, there is the Computer Olympiad, there's the first Lego League competitions, and the first Tech Challenge competitions. There's the World Robot Olympiad competitions, there's the Conquista, which is a quiz. You've got a Robothon, which is a one-day only, and you've got the virtual gear robotics competition, and that is actually also hosted on the MOOC portal. So we're happy to give you lots of information. Okay, so these are all resources that you can use. Just a bit about the short learning programs. It's every semester, so the second semester is open. Obviously, it has a cost. And so there's two practicals. You do in this order, first the components and pedagogy, and then the problem solving and data and debugging. Or you can go theory, you do the robotics fundamentals, and then you do robotics for the future. All right. And if you need more information, we're happy to answer that. All right. But we actually prefer that you start. Oh, there's a 2023. Why does the 2023? I'll change that. Okay. So we prefer that you join us first on the massive open online courses. It's 0 rated. And you create a login, and Tabella is happy to show you that. So currently there are 3 published, and M4 should be published soon. We've also got a Python MOOC. We've got a robotics and environmental science MOOC, which we will be discussing shortly. We've got a cyber safety MOOC, and then we've got the 2 digital literacy and coding and robotics MOOCs. And with all the lesson plans, the activities, and everything's there, and you can use it and you can download it. All right. These are all our contact details. And you're welcome to give us a call. This is the MOOC portal that Tumela is happy to show you around, and we have a Q&A session every Friday at 3 o'clock. All right. And yeah, so Tumela is happy to demonstrate the UNISA portal on a Friday at 3 o'clock. And so that is the introduction to our sessions today. Are there any questions, Tumela?
Yes, you have 2 hands.
2 hands, okay.
We had a hand from... Okay, I see the hands are down now. Kindly please raise your hands unless you got clarity, or unmute yourselves, please.
Nobody opening.
You can enable your audio on your side as well.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the chat. On the chat, okay. Kindly please go back to that slide that you meant to say you'll make it bigger. And then, ladies and gentlemen, do we have any questions regarding today's session? Feel free to unmute yourselves or raise your hand. We had 2 hands during the presentation. I don't know. Perhaps you guys got clarity. All right. How many of you in the session haven't registered yet on the MOOCs portal? Let's see by the raise of hands. All right, even you, Dr. Teresa. All right, Ivella, okay, noted. Tabisa, noted. Yes, you may proceed. Where you are showing UNISA Science Engagement Center, DSI. There we go. Dr. Teresa, perhaps you might have a question so that Dr. Hose zooms in where you wanted to see it clearly. By the way, I've enabled all your microphones.
Thanks very much. I wasn't actually the one who asked to have it enlarged, but it is quite tiny. I think that it's got to do with where the people are placed in terms of the list of people. It's no big issue. I do have an issue around MOOCs in general. And I'm wondering if there's ways that we can, gosh, we're having a bit of feedback here. I'm wondering if there's ways in which we can expand the people who these sets of MOOCs go out to. So I'm thinking here, for example, of the recent discussions I've been having with Digital Senegal, where this was kind of one of the things that they were really speaking to as a big gap in the rollout of robotics to children and capacity building in the country in general. So I was just wondering, how do we kind of try and negotiate, think about funding for getting these MOOCs into different languages so that they can go out to more people? Yeah, sorry, so it's a left field question. I'm kind of on the spot, but that's what I've really been thinking about in terms of the MOOCs.
All right. So what we can do, Teresa, we can go into a conversation about that. And language in the MOOC research, the language of MOOCs is an issue, and the lack of MOOCs in Africa is also an issue that came out in one of my previous papers. So maybe we can add that to our research. So just maybe for everybody on the call, Dr. Disavit and I are actually doing research about the use of, the use of these resources, and we'll be sharing a questionnaire on Thursday. And so, Teresa, maybe I think we need to add that as well, just to the mix as well. Okay. I know that I've got quite a few participants from Lesotho, and they are joining us as part of their empowerment and upskilling as well. So welcome to all those in Lesotho. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Cool. All right. Camilla, are you hearing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody else? Anybody else want to share or ask a question? No. All right. Okay, so if there's no further questions, let me pull up presentation number 2. And so really, thanks for that. The first presentation was really just to create the setting the scene, where for all robotics resources that we have, whether it is in person or online, and whether it's for a teacher or a learner, kind of 3 focus areas. So the one is the fundamentals of engineering, the other one's the principles of programming, and the other one is the the development of these 21st century skills that happens. Okay, and so what I've done is now for the next session, I really want to focus on what resources you can use to build the robots, actually build the robots. And so if you've got any resources that you're using currently that we don't present now in this session, we'd love to have you just join us and give some contributions. I see Lucy has a hand up. Yes, Lucy.
Good day, how are you?
I'm very well, and yourself? Yes.
I'm good, thanks. I'm really struggling to log in. I don't know. I was able to register and create an account, but now I'm struggling to log in. It just say invalid login.
Okay, is this when you log into your MOOCs?
Yes.
All right, that's not a problem. Can I ask you just to send an email to the ISET email address?
Okay.
Tumelo's just put it onto the chat, and then we can quickly look at your issue. Okay, your challenge.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you. Thanks, Lucy. Thank you so much. All right.
I was able to log in with my staff number. I didn't have to register. I don't know if Lucy's a staff member.
No. For the MOOCs, you need to create your own account. It's not linked to you, not your linked to your news account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, for the MOOCs, you can build your own account. All right. Okay. So let's quickly go to session 2, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more conversation going. Let me just quickly. There we go. All right. Okay, so this is. Can you see my slide? Am I audible? Am I audible? Everybody, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. So now what we're going to do in this presentation is really the resources to actually build a robot. All right. So there's the introduction, and then we're going to do programming tomorrow, and then I'll give you kind of a list of more resources, and you'll see that whatever you use as a teacher or as a facilitator, there should be something there for the learners. And so with the MOOCs, there are lesson plans, there are activities. In M1, M2, and M3, there's an assessment that you can then use as an educator to upskill yourself, but you can use it for your learners as well as a challenge. So there's always the balance for the teachers and for the learners. All right. So now we're going to look at actually building these robots. All right. So the practical is designing and building of the robots. And so we're going to present this in M1 and M2. And so there's actually a kind of a gradual, as you look at it, the building part of it. So we first build a chassis, so a basic structure chassis, and I'm looking for a robot, a basic chassis, and then we make that move. So that's your building and your there we go. Thank you so much, Tamela. So this will just normal motors. There's no sensors on it. You've got wheels, you've got motors. So this is your chassis. And with this little robot, we just teach navigation. All right, but the programming is tomorrow. And now see, I've made another mistake. It's not power, it's passive attachment. So we attach passive attachments to this robot, just general passive attachments like bumpers and plows and things. All right. But there's a progression. You see, there's a progression in the building part, because now then M2 we add the sensors, so that's the next level of building, and then also in M2 we do the gearing and the powered attachment. So there's always, and it carries on after M2 comes M3 and M4, and there's more to that. But so it's not just we'll just build a robot. There's actually a progression, and you obviously have to have your learners kind of master the building part of it. The form is the design and the building. And remember, the function is then the program that ensures the robot can do something. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow, Thursday. All right, so if you look at these robots, like, oh, my word, how do you start? Where do you start? But if you just look, okay, so just for clarity, the grade 1, 2s, and 3s, we do the Spike Essential. It's a much smaller hub. And so this yellow thing here is called a hub. All right. So grade 4 to grade 10, these are the kind of robots that we have, all right? The gray ones with the white, these are built with the the EV3 robotics kits. And in COVID, we got the new Spike Prime robotics kits, which is a lot of color, and the little brain is yellow. All right. But you can already see. Okay, so let's do this one. This one, it's got a basic chassis structure, but it's got two motors up here, which are going to be used for something, probably powered attachments. And there you've got the brain or the hub that's programmed. Okay, here you've got exactly the same kit. Two wheels, those are the motors underneath there that are going to turn the wheels. And here is a brain, and this thing is attached to another motor. Okay, so it's going to be able to move up and down. All right. Here you've got a brain, but now you can't see anything. So there's another brain, and then you've got all the components as part of your design. Okay, and you start with one brain, and two motors attached with wires. Okay, and then you build, passive attachments, and then you build sensors, and then you build powered attachments. There's always a progression. There's always a progression in what you're doing. Okay. Okay, so how do you build? Well, you build initially from building instructions. Okay, so most of us have grown up in a home where we know how to make a cup of tea, how to make a cup of coffee, how to open a door, how to close a door, how to sit up, we know how to do that because we have watched. But to build a robot, that maybe many learners haven't seen that. All right, so we supply them with building instructions. This is the Riley Rover building instructions. You'll see it is, you have to, that's step one. You've got to get 4 connectors, 1 axle of length 8, and a motor. Okay, and usually when you have a team of learners, you take these building instructions, and you had 1 read the instruction, 1 get the pieces, 1 give the pieces, and the other 1 to build, and then you kind of get them to move around, and so each one gets a chance. Step number 2, here's step number 2. You take 2 connectors, 2 of those and 1 of those, and then you put it together like that. And so you just build, keep on building your building instructions. Now this is free and it's available. There's lots of building instructions, and we're happy to share a whole list with you as well. So for Riley Rover, that is with your EV3 set. If you've got a Spike Prime set, you probably have to build a driving base or advanced driving base, depending how advanced your learners are. And it's always good to start somewhere. And then you get all your attachments that you can build. All right. Now, if you don't have a robotics kit, you can actually build it online. So we used to build a lot with Lego Digital Designer, and you will get a lot of LDD files of designs. You'll still find them online. The robotics community or community of practice is happy to share. And so it's kind of a next step. So if you have a really good design, you get a Lego Digital Designer, you make the file with the design in it, and then you share it with the world. Because it would seem that Bricklink Studio is kind of coming into the fore. And apparently, says my experts, that you can open Lego Digital Designer files in Bricklink Studio. And the other one that I have added to this list, because there are some teachers using it, is called Tinkercad, which you can also use to build virtual robots. All right. So here's some instructions. There's the download link. Please don't pay for any of this, okay? What I do know is your Lego Digital Designer that design can be imported into a package called Virtual Robotics Toolkit, but if you have the license for it. And the license is not that expensive, and I need to find out exactly what their license is this year. Okay, so for an attachment design that your learners have built, all right, so if you built the robot with the attachment, and your learners have designed their attachment, and you want to keep that design, then you can reverse engineer it as well. All right. Ideally, you should have a collection of robots. So nobody has the luxury of just keeping a whole lot of robots. You need to dismantle them, but you can at least keep the designs. Okay. My teams have designed some amazing attachments over the years. Yeah. Prepare to be surprised. All right. You can see here, so this is a tutorial with Builder Dude 35. He has several Lego Digital Designer tutorials. You do not need to think it up. You just need to watch the videos, and there's got lots of tips and ideas, obviously, from all the years of his designing things. And you can see, so they're getting started, Lego Digital Designer, you can build cars and you can build what's and everything like that's quite cute. How to build a Lego safe. All right. So that is always an option, and Lego Digital Designer and Bricklink Studio are free. You can use them. All right. And then you can import them, and there are tutorials there. Import your robot into VRT, Virtual Robotics Toolkit. It is there. You just need to download the stuff. Okay. So if you don't have robotics kits, or you don't have enough robotics kits, you can always install this on your computer lab, and so that everybody gets a chance to build a robot. Okay. All right. So now, there's a Spike Prime. There's a Spike Prime as well, so you can import that as well. Just spotted that. All right. To start your first design in Lego Digital Designer, you just install it, open it, and then you can select which kit you want to use, and you can use the Mindstorms if you want to use the EV3 kit, or apparently the Spike Prime. And there are all the elements, all the pieces are there, the wheels, the motors, the beams, the levers. You can select the parts and drag and drop. Now, I just want to pause here and say, I do have 2 people on my team that are happy to give you an hands-on demo of this, but they're not quite here at the moment. So if you think it'll be viable or useful to have a more in-depth session on this, we're happy to hear you. Okay. And then the toolkit, you can use the cloning is making the same structure. You can select the function. So all that is available. And then when you've got your design done, it looks like that. You build it on design, and then you can view the design, or you can build a design guide, and then that'll give you all the steps to how to build it if you want to have your own design that you want to share with everybody. All right. All right. So, and you save the folder, and after you've saved it, you can share it, and you can see what your robot looks like. It looks really impressive. All right. There's a guide. Okay. Bricklink Studio. You can import the Spike Prime parts, and apparently Prime Lesson shows you how to use it. And again, you can open LDD files, you can save as LDD files, you can edit instructions, you can allow for sharing. And so that's what it looks like. It looks very similar. It's also got building instructions, all right? And there we go. Okay, same kind of picture. You can see your robotics and your components. And there is, in Prime Lessons, there is actually creating a robot inventor in CAD. You can do that, okay? If you have Spike Prime. All right. So customer was going to give a demonstration, but he's unfortunately not available today. So we're going to have to leave it over till hopefully he'll be available on another day. But tomorrow we'll show you then how to program in the robotics with in person or online, and then I'll show you more resources. When we've done that, we're going to share our questionnaire with you, and we're going to ask you kind of what resources are you using. All right. I'm going to pause here a minute and say, are there any contributions to make to this conversation that you think we need to know about? Let me just save this quickly. Anybody want to put their hand up and share what resources they are using in their classes? Anybody? It's not, I know it's the ideal to have every learner have a robotics kit, but that's not helping with collaboration or teamwork. So it really is commendable that you share, the team members need to share robots. And it's normally about a ratio of 6 learners to 1 robot. A robotics team can up to be 10 learners, but about 6 learners should be fine. And then also to create opportunities for learning with robotics kits, and then also on the computer. It's all part of it. And if you have learners that like drawing, they're welcome to draw the robots as well. That's also part of it. Okay. Anybody? Oh, we are very quiet. You've got EV3. Okay. All right. Anybody? Are there any questions on the chat?
No, I'm interacting with that one.
Are you interacting? Okay. And Tamella's having a interaction conversation on chat. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Anybody want to share? Tell us what resources you're using in your class, what resources you have for your class, how old your learners are. No? And comes down to the basic thing of sharing. Sharing robotics kits with groups of learners doesn't come naturally. But I do know that it becomes a lot of fun if they work together and if a team can learn to work together. They might not start out liking each other, but they certainly can as a team gel. And so you're developing more skills than just more than just robots, more than just building and programming. You actually have learners interacting and knowing what to do. All right. Okay. Are there any other questions that we need to answer? No.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, I see there's a hand up.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Nick.
Hi, Dr. Kurs. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Just in regards with the resources.
Yes.
Sorry, that's my son.
Bye.
Just in regards with the resources, Tinkercad.
Tinkercad, yes.
Do you download the Lego pieces or do you have to design them, or how does it work on Tinkercad? Because I have used Tinkercad, but I didn't know you could use it with Lego.
I must be honest, I haven't used Tinkercad, but somebody said I must add that to the list. So if I don't know, I'll find out for you. Okay.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's just I have used Tinkercad, but I've never seen used with like Lego pieces unless they've designed them themselves.
Okay.
But I just wanted to know maybe if you've used it. Yeah.
No. I kind of and there's a lot of Lego digital design out there.
Okay.
Which other robotics, either learners or teams have uploaded, especially when they have a really cool design. And so for me, it's about downloading what other people have done and going to see how they've built it.
Yes.
Even if you just get learners, if you show them a robot and say, okay, tell me, what do you think this robot does? It only has 2 wheels. It doesn't have sensors. It doesn't have any attachment. So what can it do? It only move forward and backwards.
Yeah.
And then if you there are some really cool robots kind of in action, even for WRO or First Lego League, or let the learners kind of think, what is the robot doing? What does it have to do things like that?
Right.
There's also on building, and I always call him Isigama or something like that. I will get his name for Thursday.
Okay.
And he has actually got a free website with really cool contraptions. He calls them contraptions.
Okay.
And so for those, it is just get a couple of pieces and build something. So there's there's an attachment that you attach to the front of your robot. It grabs something and it goes up and drops it. Okay, so that whole motion there. But you let the learners build that. All right.
Yes.
From the building instructions, and put it on the robot and test it and see whether it works. And then when you see it's working, then you say, okay, now we have to adapt it because you've got to pick up something bigger or smaller or something. And then, so that is where they learn building a frame of reference for a gripper or a slider or a rack and pinion, or let them build it. Let them build a rack, let them build a gripper, let them build a lever, those pivot attachments where you just click it and it triggers something.
Yes.
But and now for the life of me, I can't remember the guy's name. Oh, now that's irritation. Now I know what I want. Okay. I will look for it and I will have the books with me on Thursday. But he has got on his website. I paid for mine, but you can. He now has an option where you can download the PDFs, and then he asks for comments and how you use it and donations and whatever. But he's more focused on getting it out there. Yeah.
Okay, because I think my kids are just struggling with the attachment itself. The button, that's fine, but now to try and just build an attachment, not the ones that were on the Lego Prime site, but actually to try and design their own. they struggle a little bit on that.
So find a robot attachment, especially a powered attachment that you can build, that they can build, and then you tell them, now you modify it.
Okay.
And
Great.
then you just keep morphing it. You just keep morphing the structure so they can get. And when they start building their own attachments, the sky's the limit, which is what you want. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so
And then
much.
don't forget to re-engineer it and keep it as a great design. Okay.
Yes. No, I will do that.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure, Nick. Pleasure. All right. Okay. Tumelo, is there more questions? No. All right. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate it. As you can see, never ending building. And then on Thursday, please go and vote tomorrow. And then Thursday we'll start doing the programming. How do you do it to actually make the robot move? But we've also got a lot of online resources that you can use, and then we'll unpack the whole lot on Thursday in the second session. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It was a great introduction. Now we have to vote, and then we will see each other again on Thursday. All right. Thank you to my team for being here, for Anzani and Tumelo, and Teresa for joining us. And we will see each other then on Thursday if there are no further questions. All right. Tumelo, you've done? Tumelo's also done. So thank you, everybody, and I'll stop the recording. Thank you, everybody. We'll see each other on Thursday. All right. And everybody needs to have evidence that they voted. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Pleasure. Bye. Bye. Stay
I need
well.
to get the recording.